Hey everybody, welcome back to Breakfast with Bob from Clash Daytona. My name is Bob Babbitt, and we're brought to you by Toyota, Captiva Spine, Foundation Risk Partners, and USA Triathlon. Our next guest, she, in her amazing career, won 15 iron distance races. She is the queen of Roth, and she will be commentating here for Clash Daytona. Belinda Granger joins us. How are you, beautiful?
Well, I would like to say I'm very well, but you know we had a special dinner last night, so I'm a little shady around the edges, but doing okay.
I was worried that when T.O. decided we're going to open a bottle of wine with the sword, that there could be a little bit of a problem, but no injuries.
No
Everybody
injuries,
came
that's
out.
right.
Everything was good.
We're unscathed, thank God.
So, and you are very involved with Challenge Family. Talk a little bit about what you do for Challenge Family.
So my main role with the Challenge Family is pro liaison. So I basically liaise between the professional athletes and the race directors all around the world. And it works either way. Athletes either come to me asking to do certain races and then I connect them, or vice versa, the race directors if they're after a particular athlete.
Right.
Email me and then I put them in contact with that athlete and we go from there. But yeah, it's a great job. I've been doing it for so many years now, and I think I've earned the nickname Mother Hen because I really do care for the pro athletes.
I feel exactly the same way.
Yeah.
They're all so special, and I think what a lot of people don't understand is in other sports, you soccer or rugby or basketball, they get identified when they're young, right? And pampered, and people take care of them. Our folks usually find out by doing a race as an age grouper going, oh, I'm pretty good at this.
I'm actually good at this.
I can make a living at this.
Exactly.
So there's a connection between that pro and the age grouper that you don't really have, I don't think, in other sports. And I think to a certain degree our pros, for years and years really never really made the dollars that they deserve for the amount of work they put in. And you understand that as somebody who raced for, 20 years?
20 odd 30 years. I know, a long time. And again, even with my story, I started as an age group athlete.
Right. Aquathlon, right?
And I never in a million years thought that I would make a career out of it. But again, I was reasonably good at it. I loved it, and it took someone from the outside to actually say to me, Belinda, you could actually make a career at this.
Right.
And I think I laughed at them when I first heard it, but I think now if I hadn't have discovered the sport of triathlon, it's shaped me into the person I am today.
There's no question.
No, not at all.
And one of my favorite parts of your career is in 2007, go to Kona, and there's a young woman named Chrissy Wellington who's training with Brett Sutton and had been in the, her goal was to be an Olympic athlete. Brett Sutton realized you're a diesel. You're going long. She goes to Korea. She wins Korea, qualifies for Kona. Nobody knows who she is. She's got logos glued on to her singlet. And you're on the bike. And she goes by, you're with a lot
big group of
competitors, right?
All of the big players, yeah.
And what'd you say to those folks when Chrissy went by?
It's funny, and just to take it back, I still remember the day that Chrissy Wellington turned up to our training camp, and we were a very, very tight-knit training camp, and we'd been training for months on end, and we were in Thailand. We were all exhausted, hungry. This is typical Sutto camp.
Yeah,
hungry.
Sutton.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just dying to go home and to be back in our own beds, and this bright-eyed, bushy-tailed young woman turns up, all excited, ready to go. We're all half dead. And I remember thinking, who is this person and how dare they just turn up to our camp
and kick everybody's ass.
Everybody's backside. But yeah, and she was a phenomenon. She still is, and she changed the sport for females. She definitely raised the bar, not just once, but several times. But I remember, we were in the pack, and it was a big group, and everyone was there. And Chrissy wasn't a particularly great swimmer back then, and she got out of the water behind us, so it did take her quite a long time to catch us. And I remember she said she caught us, and she sat on the back for a while, off the back, and she's like, this is
too slow.
Way too slow. I'm up the front busting my chops. And she came up beside me. She goes, I've been on the back for a while. I don't know what to do. Like, she literally said, I don't know what to do, Belinda. I said, well, how do you feel? And she goes, really good. I said, this is too slow for you. And she goes, it is. And I said, well, bloody go. Don't look back. And I still remember saying it.
You should have said, what? You better sit back there.
Yeah. In hindsight, I would have said that. And I said, well, you go. And I said, don't look back. And she said, come with me. And And I said, I can't. This is it. I'm on my limit. Anyway, it was so funny because you could see as she went through, and it was quite a long, as I said, there was probably 15 of us. And she went past everyone, and you could see them all looking around, people getting up off the bars. I remember Kate Major looking around.
Samantha McGlone.
Sam McGlone, and she was the favourite to win it that year. And they all looked around Rebecca Keat, and I said, and they didn't do anything. No one reacted. They just let this person go. They let Chrissy go. And so I got up and I looked back and I said, well, there goes this year's winner. And they're like, who is she? I said, doesn't matter. That's this year. I said, if you think she's good on the bike, wait till you see her run, because that was her strength. Her running was her strength back then. And sure enough, she won it. And I remember Sutto saying to me, if Sam had have gone with her, had have just decided to go with her, Sam would have won that race.
Really?
He actually said that.
Because Chrissy probably didn't have the confidence at that point.
Exactly. She'd never run it. She'd done that one race in Korea, which was her only time ever doing that distance. It was her one and only marathon. And she really was a big unknown. And the thing is, she had no pressure. She got off the bike with a huge lead. She could run to whatever speed she wanted to.
Kissing babies and because everybody thought she'd blow up.
Yep.
She's just a great cyclist, let them go.
Exactly. And so Sutto still says to this day that was Sam's race to lose, and she should have won it, but she missed that opportunity.
Yeah, you can't give that person confidence. Every pedal stroke, she's getting more and more confidence.
Yep. So
it's
crazy.
When Bill Christie first mentioned to you, hey, I want to put these events on at these racetracks. I mean, I look at this as the ultimate playground. I look at this as,
it's unbelievable.
This is triathlon heaven. Wait, you mean I can do stuff in the middle of the day, not get by cars? This is...
It's cool.
I'm imagining you had the same vision.
Yeah, absolutely. And for an Australian, I mean, car racing is quite a big sport in Australia, but not this style of car racing. Obviously, ours is all on road tracks. And to come here, even though I've seen it on television, and again, I got to live here today with Laura Siddle, and you come into the track, and it's enormous. As I said, this is my third time here, and I still can't get over how big this thing is. It's just huge. And it gives me goosebumps coming in, but it's an amazing race. And the thing I love about Bill Christie is just not scared to dream big. And I think we need people like that in our sport, to just coming up with these crazy, what we think are crazy, wacky ideas. Right. But he pulls them off. And looking behind me now and seeing the pro athletes warming up and riding laps of the track, it never gets old. It's pretty cool.
We came here in February for the Daytona 500. There's 180,000 people in these stands, right? 180,000 basically on the straightaway. Right? This is one. It is so mammoth, people, and the athletes spend so much time looking around. They're going, oh my God.
I know. They still do. I mean, I still do.
I know. It's crazy.
It's awesome.
So the other thing you mentioned, the creativity of someone like a Bill Christie. Macca, what he's doing with Super League, what we're seeing with PTO and with the Collins Cup, which was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yep.
I mean, I feel good, obviously. Ironman, what Ironman's doing. Ironman 70.3, they're growing, they're adding mountain bike events, they're adding gravel, they're adding ultra marathons. Do you feel good about where the sport is?
I really do. I think... we all held our breath when the pandemic hit.
Yes.
Because obviously for events of any description, it was a worry.
Yes.
And then it was, even though we knew the pandemic will get through it, it was always that worry, will we survive it?
Right.
And to be brutally honest, I think we've not only survived it, we've come out of it even bigger and better and stronger than before, because I think it's given people time an opportunity to think outside the box, to think outside the normal swim, bike, run, and come up, as you said, with different distances, gravel races, making a whole weekend of it so that it's a sporting, it's not just a triathlon, it's an array of different activities over the weekend, families.
We got motorhomes here. It's like a totally different world. People are coming out, and you see motorhomes when you go to Challenge Roth.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But most races, because that place has 14 hotel rooms.
They've got it. That's right. Camping and
my favorite event in the world.
Yeah, me too.
Challenge Roth.
Me too.
I mean, obviously I love Kona, but
I'm biased,
there's
but me
something
too.
because of the crowds and just I always look at races and go, okay, let's look at each aspect of it. The swim is iconic. You're in the river, you got hot air balloons, you got symphony music going. The bike ride, you're going up Solar Hill twice with 50, 60, 70,000 people cheering.
It's crazy.
Then the run, you got the beer mile and a
through
line
town.
of tables with people drinking on both sides of the tables you run through. And then you finish in a stadium that they build that week, right? It's a piece of grass. Talk a little bit about that, because you are known as the queen of Roth, because you go back every year, and that's so close to your heart.
I think the reason that Roth is what it is, why it is the greatest, and it just won, the best long distance race again for don't even know how many times now, is because of the Walsurfer family. They are, I don't even know if I have words for them.
Yeah.
The entire family, Herbert, Alice, Catherine and Felix, they are incredible, and they've put their heart and soul into this event. Yeah. And it is so blatantly obvious when you go there that it's not just a triathlon race, it's their blood, it's them, and they give 100% every year. Yes. And to go back this year after obviously not being able to be on last year was truly one of the most special events that I've attended in my 30 odd years in the sport. Yeah. Because it was a disaster for it to not go ahead in 2020, and so to come back in 2021, and it wasn't at the normal Roth as we know it, but far out it was still pretty damn close.
Yeah, people loved being there. When you look back at your career, is there one race that sticks out as your best, the one race that meant the most to you?
Definitely when I won Roth in 2005. I'll never forget it. And someone, I don't even know what photographer, but they captured me at the exact moment when I was looking in the crowd. I don't even know who I was looking at, but holding up my trophy. And you can just see on my face, no words are needed. It was just how special it was to me, yeah.
And being involved with the sport for so long, does it ever get old?
Never. Oh, if anything, I've become even more of, we've got a term, we call it a frother. So I've become even more of a triathlon frother than I was when I was actually doing the sport. And, I started the sport back when I was in university, so I think I was 21 years of age. I've just turned 51, and I love the sport more now, and I get more emotional than I did back when I was racing because, it was never just a job for me anyway. It was always a whole lot more. But I think now not having to race, I get a chance to sit back and watch all of these amazing athletes. And one of the best things for me with the sport is watching the young up-and-coming athletes come through. Yes. For example, Magnus Ditlev, who's here. Yes. To see him when he first came here in 2019, none of us knew who he was. Yeah. He was just this young, gangly-looking kid from Denmark, and none of us knew who he was. But to see how he's evolved in that short period of time into being such an incredible athlete with more to come, that's what I love about our sport.
What I love, similar to what you mentioned with Chrissy, is someone like a Magnus is not afraid of the moment.
Nope.
He goes off the front, and if he blows up, he blows up. Where we've all seen people, and we talked about before the race, we know they're going to be top 10 because they're going to come off the bike in 22nd. They're going to have a great run and run their way to 8th.
Yep.
Over and over again. They don't ever improve the run, so they don't improve the bike, so they're not going to be that factor to win. Where someone like a Magnus is going, I don't really have the run right now, but I'll never know unless I go off the front.
Exactly. Yep.
That's my favorite thing is watching these people evolve. And they go from finishing 20th to winning, or even like someone like Jodie Swallow coming here and getting 15th at Daytona, and then coming back to Miami and winning it right after Dad passed away.
Exactly. She's incredible, and I'm really looking forward to watching Jode's race here on Saturday because I think she's in good form and
Jodie
she's hungry
Simpson
for it.
is ready.
Yeah, she's ready. She's ready.
She's been in Florida here, right?
Yep. For quite some time. Yep.
And I know it was hard. End of the season, still COVID is an issue. People can't get here from South Africa. Trying to get athletes here. How hard was that this year?
Yeah, it has been difficult. Obviously, after last year with the PTO champs, they had $1 million up for grabs, so we had a phenomenal field.
Right.
And
there'd been no
racing.
There'd been no
racing, so people were chomping at the
storm,
bit. Yeah, people were chomping at the bit for a race. This year, it's a little bit a lot different because we've had a full season, pretty much a full season of racing, and December is a time where most athletes are taking their break.
Right.
And I understand that. And it's winter in Europe. It's winter here. Athletes from Australia and New Zealand, still very, very difficult for them to travel.
Right.
So it's almost impossible for them to get here. So, the field, we've got some incredible athletes racing, but it's obviously nowhere near as deep as what it was this time last year. And while I wouldn't like to use the word disappointing, it's not disappointing. We wanted a great field.
It's just you still have a great field.
Exactly. I still think we've got a solid field, and it's still, in some ways, particularly with the women's race, there's no standout. So I actually love that.
it's better from a television perspective than having somebody off
I can't
the front
tell you
killing it.
I can't tell you who's going to win it. You know, obviously in Miami when we had Jan Frodeno there, it was obvious unless something went drastically wrong, no one was going to come within Kui.
Right.
So, and we could say that about the men's race, having Christian Blumenfeld here, and of course he is the standout athlete. However, you know, we know he's just come off his first Ironman race, so I don't even think he knows how he's going to actually go. So,
No.
and
Well,
there's.
if we look at last year Daytona, it was Alistair Brownlee, and Alistair Brownlee.
Yep.
And then next thing you know, he's walking and he's got an
that's
issue.
right.
So,
yeah, you just don't know. So I think it's going to be quite exciting. But speaking of the likes of Blumenfeld, obviously Gustav Eden, again, I feel that our sport's lifted again because of these two athletes. And I don't like to just single out athletes, but I love these two men because not only are they phenomenal athletes, as you said before, they're not scared. They're not scared to try things that we would normally say, well, that's just impossible.
Right.
You know, you can't be the best in the world at Olympic distance and also the best of the world at Ironman distance. That's stupid. That time's gone. That was back 30 years ago when we were racing, when there really wasn't, you didn't really specialise. You did everything.
Yes.
You know, back with the Mark Allen days.
Yes.
But that ship sailed a long time ago.
Right.
So to see these two young men bring that back and say, well, why can't we do it?
We can do it all.
We can do whatever we want. Yeah. And I just love that attitude. And it's going to change our sport again.
No question.
Yep.
Yeah, new blood coming in, and all of a sudden Norway becomes a huge factor in our sport. Whoever figured that, right?
It's crazy.
I love it.
Yeah.
Belinda, always a pleasure.
I love
Have fun on the telecast.
I will. Honestly, it's the best crew that I've ever worked. And of course, we've got Tim O'Donnell joining us in the booth this time with Rick Allen and myself. And then down on the ground, we've got GB, Greg Bennett, and Alicia Kay. And honestly,
Jared Schumacher,
helping us out, Torsten Rad. And it's just, and the producer, the two producers, Keith and Caleb, I've never worked with a better crew in my life.
My favorite is, last year we were here for Daytona, and I remember talking to some NASCAR guys, are you concerned? You've never shot this before, this NASCAR TV. He goes, you know, how fast are they going? He goes, our guys are going 200 miles an hour.
I think we're going to cut. I think we can
deal with it. You guys are going 30? Yeah, I think we'll be all right. I think all right. And I love the fact when you bring in new TV guys and they have, hey, well, why can't we do the pointers? Why can't we do this?
Exactly. They bring in new
all
ideas.
Sorts of innovation and making the television better than we've ever had it before. In fact, I was watching the Olympics, and I'm going, I don't know anything that's going there. They're going 18 laps. They're going in circles. I have no idea speed. I have no idea where the second pack is. You know, like we're sort of spoiled because we're getting that from this race that we should know everything.
Yep. And no excuses. And that's what I love about them. And they get angry when they aren't able to give that information to us. So every year they just keep improving and keep adding new information, new ideas. And it's exciting.
I love it. Yep. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Belinda Granger has been our guest, everybody. Again, Breakfast with Bob, Clash Daytona. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Hold on. We'll be right back.